everyone, welcome to the lecture series on Building Material and Construction 18 CV 34. Myself, Professor Vijayalakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, KLS VDIT, Haliyad. So let's start with today's discussion on the first module, that is lecture number 4. So in this, the course content covered in this lecture, classification of bricks based on the quality, field and laboratory test on bricks, compressive strength of the brick, water absorption test on brick, efflorescence and dimension and warpage of the bricks. So this is the learning outcome. At the end of the lecture, student will have a better understanding of classification of the bricks, different tests conducted on brick in field and laboratory which is used in the construction field. So next is the what are the course content covered in the previous lecture? Introduction to the bricks, and we have studied about the classification of the bricks and manufacture of clay bricks, basic requirement of the good bricks. So this is the classification of the bricks based on the quality. First class brick, second class, third class and fourth class brick. So in case of first class brick, these are table molded bricks. Surface and edge are sharp in nature, square, smooth and straight edges. It is well burnt and have a uniform texture, and it gives a clear metallic ringing sound when stuck against each other, and it is used for superior work. And in case of second class brick, these are ground molded brick. Surface are rough in nature, the quality of the brick are inferior. Next is the third class brick. The surface and edges are rough in nature and does not create any metallic sound, and it is used for temporary and unimportant structure. So these are the different types of bricks. And next is the fourth class brick. This brick are overburnt and the color of the brick will be yellowish in nature, and it has irregular shape and dark color. So here again it is given. So here you can come across the different types of bricks: first class, second class and third class brick. These are the different basic requirement of different classes of the brick. So in case of first class brick, they are table molded and they are burnt in the kiln, and they are well burnt in kiln. The surface of the first class brick will be smooth and rectangular in nature. The edge of the brick are perpendicular to the adjoining edges. They are regular in shape and size with sharp edge and corner. They shall be uniform deep red color, cherry red in color, and they should be free from any cracks. They should be free from chips, efflorescence, any faults and lumps of any kind. Dry first class brick should not absorb more than 16% of the own weight, but as per the Indian Standard Code book, it should not exceed 20% for first class brick when it is immersed in water for 24 hours. They emit a clear ringing sound when two bricks are stuck each other. The average compressive strength of the first class brick should not be less than 100 kg per square centimeter and not more than 125 kg square centimeter. So these are the basic requirements of the second class brick. So in case of second class brick, the bricks are burnt in kiln and they are ground molded in nature. The crushing strength of the second class brick should not be less than 7 Newton per mm square. They are rectangular in shape, but the edges are not accurate and uniform. The sharp are as first class brick. They are free from cracks, but small cracks and deterioration are permitted. When second class bricks are immersed in water for 24 hours, the water absorption capacity should not be more than 22% of its own weight. They emit a clear sound when two bricks are stuck each other. They are light red color, but the color of the brick is not same throughout the area. The surface of the brick is rough in nature, and in case of second class brick, they are preferable for all important and unimportant masonry work. And these are the characteristics of third class brick. So in the third class brick, the shape and size are not regular in nature. The color is soft. These bricks are ground molded and burnt in clamp, and they are underburnt, slightly overburnt sometimes. It has a excessive efflorescence. White patches are seen on the surface of the brick. The texture is not uniform. The absorption capacity of these type of bricks is it should not exceed more than 24%. They should produce dull sound when stuck each other. The crushing strength is 140 kg per centimeter square, where the minimum crushing strength is 105 kg per centimeter square, and it emits a dull or burnt sound when struck by another similar brick with a hammer. So here the impression will be marked on the surface of the brick when used with the fingernail. So it will make a mark, or the impression will be there on the surface of the brick. They are used for temporary and unimportant structure. So these are the different tests conducted on bricks. So here these tests are conducted based on the suitability for the construction work. First one is the crushing strength, or it is also called as compressive strength. So here compressive strength is determined as per the Indian Standard Code 3495 Part 1 1992, and water absorption test. This test is conducted as per the Indian Standard Code 3495 Part 2 1992, and presence of soluble salts or efflorescence test. This test is conducted as per the Indian Standard Code Book 3495 Part 3 1992. Last one is the dimension and warpage test. This type of test is conducted based on the Indian Standard Code Book 3495 Part 4 1992. So first one we will study on the crushing strength or the compressive strength of the brick. The crushing strength of the brick can be found with the help of compressive testing machine, that is CTM. Bricks is fixed to the crushing testing machine, and crushing force is applied to the brick during the testing operation. So you can see here, this is the machine, and this is the upper plate, and this is the lower plate, and the brick is placed here, and the top is the plywood. So here the minimum crushing strength of the brick should be 105 kg per centimeter square. So here the compressive strength of the brick is calculated by using the formula maximum load at failure divided by cross-sectional area of the specimen in Newton. The unit for measuring the compressive strength is Newton per mm square. So we'll study the procedure, how the test is conducted. So in this test, for this well-burnt clay brick is selected. The top and bottom face of the brick are ground to provide smooth and even surface for the test. The brick sample is placed in water at room temperature. Next is, so here the top frog of the brick is filled with cement mortar. One part of cement and one part of clean coarse sand of 3 mm grade. Downsize is used for preparing cement mortar. After that, store under the damp jute bags for 24 hours and then immerse in clean water for 3 days. Take out the brick sample and clean extra water from the surface. Place brick sample between two plywood sheets, each 3 mm thick, with flat faces, horizontal and mortar filled face upward. So in this case, the brick sample between plywood sheet is carefully set in the center of the compression testing machine. Fix the gauge of the machine and tighten it and start applying the axial load at a uniform rate of 140 kg per centimeter square per minute till failure. And soon after applying the load at the uniform rate, so after some time you will observe hair-like cracks on the diagonal face of the brick. The maximum load on the dial gauge at the failure of the brick sample is noted. So here, to find out the compressive strength, you have to use maximum load at the failure divided by area of the specimen, that is brick. Next is the water absorption test. So in case of water absorption test, a brick is dried and is weighed. It is immersed in water for a period of 24 hours. It is weighed again and difference in weight indicates the amount of water absorbed by the brick. It should not exceed 20% of its weight for first class brick. So here this is the formula used for calculating the water absorption in terms of percentage. W2 minus W1 divided by W1 into 100. So here W1 indicates dry weight of the brick, that is oven dry condition after 24 hours at a temperature of 110 to 150 degrees centigrade. W2 is the wet weight of the brick after immersion for 24 hours. So we'll study the procedure of the water absorption test on the brick. So here there are two tests to determine the water absorption. First one is 24-hour immersion cold water test, 5-hour boiling water test. So this is the sample which is immersed in the tray. So in case of 24-hour immersion cold water test, this is as per the Indian Standard Code Book. The dry sample is put in an oven maintained at a temperature of 105 to 115 degrees centigrade till it attains a constant mass. After cooling, sample at a room temperature, weight of the sample is recorded as W1. The dry sample is then immersed completely in the water at a temperature of 27 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. Take out the sample from the water and wipe all water from its surface with a wet cloth. Complete weighing of the specimen 3 minutes after the specimen has been removed from the water. Let this weight be W2. So here water absorption after 24 hours immersion in cold water is given by W2 minus W1 divided by W1 into 100. So in case of 5-hour boiling water brick test, the brick sample is dried in an oven at 105 to 115 degree centigrade till it attain constant mass. Cool the brick sample at room temperature and record its weight W1. The brick is immersed in boiling water for 5 hours. With the brick immersed in water is allowed to cool at 27 degrees centigrade. The brick sample is taken out and wipe it with a damp cloth. Complete the weighing of the specimen in 3 minutes. Let this value be W3. Water absorption percentage by mass is given by W3 minus W1 divided by W1 into 100. So let's start with the another type of test, that is presence of soluble salts or efflorescence test. So this is the efflorescence test which has taken place. Efflorescence, that is white patches, are seen on the surface of the brick. This indicates high amount of salts present in the brick. So here soluble salt available in the brick causes efflorescence. The presence of such salt can be determined as follows. So here place one end of the brick in a 25 mm depth of water in a dish of minimum diameter 150 mm and a depth of 30 mm. The dish is made of porcelain, glass or glazed stone work. The experiment is performed in a well ventilated room between 20 to 30 degrees centigrade till all the water in the dish is either absorbed by the specimen or it is evaporated. After the specimen has dried, add a similar quantity of water to the dish and let it to be absorbed by the specimen for efflorescence after the second evaporation. Efflorescence in a brick is denoted by 3 to 4 things. First one is nil, second one is slight, third one is moderate, fourth one is heavy or serious. So when it is called as nil, slight, moderate, heavy and serious. When salt deposit is not found on the surface, then it is said to be nil. Then in case of slight, when efflorescence does not cover more than 10% of the exposed area of the brick, it is said to be slight. Moderate, when the deposit of efflorescence is heavier than slight and does not cover more than 50% of the exposed area of the brick surface. There should not be powder or flake of the brick exposed surface. In case of heavy, when the brick deposits or the deposit cover an area of 50% or more of the exposed area of the brick surface, then it is said to be efflorescence salt or heavy. There should not be any powder or by flaking on the surface of the exposed brick. Next is the serious efflorescence. So in case of this type, efflorescence is said to be serious when there is powdering or flaking of salt on the exposed surface of the brick. So it will cover maximum surface of the brick. If white deposits are found on more than 50% of the surface, the efflorescence is heavy and it is treated as serious, and the brick will not be used for the construction purpose and it will be rejected. When the white deposit cover about 50% of the surface, it is then taken out and allowed to dry. So when it will be taken out, to find out the presence of soluble salt in the brick, it is immersed in water for 24 hours. So after immersing for 24 hours, the bricks will be taken out and allowed to dry. If white deposit cover about 10% of the surface, the efflorescence is said to be slight and is considered as moderate. So next is the dimension and warpage test. So in this case, you have to check the width, height as well as the length of the brick. In this test, the brick is closely observed. It should be of standard size and its shape should be rectangular with sharp edge and corners. For this purpose, 20 bricks of standard size 19 by 9 by 9 centimeter are selected at random and they are stacked lengthwise along with the width and along with the height as shown in this figure. So here they have shown measurement for the length, and this is measurement for the width, and this is measurement for the height. For good bricks, the result should be within the following permissible limit. The length should be 3680 mm to 3920 mm. Width should be 1740 mm to 1860 mm. Height should be 1740 mm to 1860 mm. So we'll study about how these type of test will be conducted in the laboratory. Next is the warpage test. So in case of warpage test, warpage means checking out or observing the surface of the specimen on the basis of twist or defect on the surface of the specimen. For a brick, it is said it is a greater distance in the brick from one point to the another point in a straight line with no single defect or twist. The warpage of the specimen or the brick are measured in a measuring tool as ruler shown in the image below. So this is the image shown here. So the warpage is measured by two types based on the physical characteristic of the brick. So first one is the concave and second one is convex. In concave warpage method, the brick is rested on the surface of the warpage. After that, the distance is measured from one corner of the brick to the point where concave deflection of the brick starts. So in case of convex brick, In convex warpage method, the brick is placed in such a manner that the brick surface is kept on the plane surface and the convex defect of the brick at a plane surface is found. The flat distance of the brick in both the method determine the warpage of the brick. So here you can see what how the test is conducted in the warpage. Warpage of the brick is measured with the help of the flat steel or the glass surface and measured using the ruler having the graduation of 0.5 mm division or wedge of steel 60 by 15 by 15 mm as shown in this figure. For warpage test, we have to consider 10 bricks from a lot. So in case of concave warpage, the flat surface of the brick is placed along the surface to be measured, selecting the location that gives the greatest deviation from the straightness. The greatest distance of the brick surface from the edge of straightness is measured by a steel ruler or wedge. In case of concave warpage, the brick is placed on the plane surface with the convex surface in contact with the flat surface, and the distance of four corners of the bricks are measured from the flat surface. The largest distance is taken as warpage. Higher of the distance measured in concave and convex test is reported as warpage. So next is what is the summary of the today's lecture. So they are widely used as a structural as well as non-structural element in the construction. So here when used in the structural members, bricks are used for the construction of the wall, retaining wall, arches, cladding, and as a non-structural member they can be used as a filler for the ornamental purpose. Various types of tests on bricks are conducted to check the quality of the brick for construction purpose. Tests on bricks are conducted at the construction site. Two types of tests will be conducted, field as well as the laboratory test. So far you have learnt about the important laboratory test which has to be determined before used in the construction site. Bricks are oldest and the important construction material because of their durability, reliability, strength and low cost. Next is these are the additional links which is provided here. You can go through it. Thank you.